Have you ever wondered what lies beyond the visible internet in the shadowy corners of the dark web? The internet, akin to an iceberg, has much more beneath the surface than what meets the eye. The part you and I access daily, filled with familiar sites like Google, Facebook, and Wikipedia, is known as the surface web. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Below it lies the deep web, a vast expanse filled with unseen data, inaccessible to standard search engines. It houses things like government records, medical documents, and financial information. Even deeper, shrouded in a cloak of anonymity, is the dark web. This mysterious realm, accessible only through specific software like Tor, is often associated with illicit activities. It's a place where identities are hidden, transactions untraceable, and where the law struggles to reach. In this uncharted territory emerged a figure who would eventually be known as the king of the dark web. Our story begins with an ordinary individual with extraordinary ambition. In the heartland of America, a young boy was born, a boy who would grow to be known as the king of the dark web. His fascination with technology began early, as he spent countless hours tinkering with gadgets, writing code, and exploring the limitless world of the internet. But this was no ordinary interest. This was an obsession, a hunger that could only be satiated by the thrill of diving into the uncharted territories of the web. As he grew, so did his curiosity. The mainstream internet was no longer enough. He yearned for something more, something darker. That's when he discovered the dark web. This was a realm where rules were scarce, where one could explore freely, far from the prying eyes of the law. His initial activities in this shadowy realm were innocent enough. He was merely a spectator, a silent observer of the chaos. But it wasn't long before he started to make his presence felt. His first claim to fame came when he hacked into a major corporation, a feat that earned him the respect of the dark web community and gave birth to his pseudonym, the King of the Dark Web. But this was just the beginning. The king was not content with mere fame. He craved power, influence, and he found that in the creation of a black market, a haven for illegal transactions, from illicit substances to stolen data. It was an empire built on secrecy and fear, a kingdom where he reigned supreme. His rise to power was swift and ruthless. He was a force to be reckoned with, a symbol of defiance against the system. He was the embodiment of the dark web's anarchic spirit, a figure who thrived in the chaos. As his influence grew, so did his audacity, leading him to create the largest black market in the dark web. His reign had just begun, and the dark web would never be the same. Imagine a marketplace where anything could be bought, from drugs to data, all under the rule of one man. Welcome, my friends, to the Kingdom of Shadows, a place where the rules of the surface web crumble, and a new order rises from the ashes. The creation of this black market was as intriguing as it was terrifying. A digital bazaar, it was born out of the necessity for an anonymous trading post, a place where the illicit and the unseen could be exchanged with ease. Imagine a bustling marketplace, but instead of fruit stands and bakeries, there are vendors selling hacked data, contraband, and worse. This was the true face of the Kingdom of Shadows. The operations of this underground marketplace were as intricate as they were clandestine. Transactions were made in the shadows, with cryptocurrencies as the currency of choice, ensuring anonymity and untraceability. Sophisticated encryption techniques kept the identities of buyers and sellers a secret, while stringent rules and regulations maintained order amidst the chaos. But, in this world of shadows, how did one man, the king of the dark web, maintain control? The answer lies in the clever utilization of technology and an uncanny understanding of human nature. The king ruled with an iron fist, his identity hidden behind layers of encryption, his commands followed without question. His control was absolute, his authority unquestioned. The king of the dark web was a master puppeteer, pulling the strings from behind the scenes. He maintained order in this chaotic world through a combination of fear and respect. His kingdom thrived under his rule, growing into a hub for all things illegal. But as the saying goes, the bigger they are, the harder they fall. The Kingdom of Shadows was not exempt from this rule. As the kingdom grew, so did the scrutiny from law enforcement agencies around the world. And as we all know, even the most secure fortresses have their weak spots. But that, my friends, is a story for another time. In a world of shadows, no one can hide forever. These words ring true for the king of the dark web, the man who once seemed invincible within the depths of the internet's underbelly. However, as the saying goes, pride comes before a fall, and the king was no exception. His downfall was a series of unfortunate events, a domino effect triggered by overconfidence and miscalculations. The king, once meticulous and cautious, began to slip. His first mistake? A trace of arrogance seeping into his actions, a belief that he was untouchable. This hubris led to lax security measures, a fatal flaw in a world where anonymity is the difference between freedom and incarceration. Around the same time, his kingdom started drawing the attention of the authorities. The scale of his operations was too vast to remain hidden forever. Law enforcement agencies across the globe began a relentless pursuit, an investigation that felt like trying to capture smoke with a net. But the king had begun to leave a trail, and it was only a matter of time before they began to follow it. The king's second mistake? Underestimating his adversaries. He dismissed the authorities as ignorant, unaware of the depths of the dark web. But they were learning, adapting, and they had something the king didn't: the power of unity. They collaborated, shared information, and slowly started to close in. The final act of this saga unfolded as a classic game of cat and mouse. The king, realizing his mistakes too late, tried to vanish, to dissolve back into the shadows from whence he came. But the net was closing in, and in the end, he was captured. The king of the dark web, once a figure of fear and respect, was reduced to a mere man in handcuffs. The reign of the king of the dark web had come to an end, but his legacy remains. The tale of his rise and fall serves as a stark reminder of the impermanence of power and the inevitable consequences of hubris. In the end, the king of the dark web was but a man caught in the web of his own creation. His downfall was met with a wave of change across the clandestine corners of the internet. The kingdom he once ruled was thrown into chaos, giving rise to new powers, new rules, and a new order. His legacy, however, is not one of destruction, but of revelation. His reign exposed the darkest corners of the web to the world, prompting a global conversation about internet safety, privacy, and ethics. His story taught us that the dark web, while a labyrinth of shadows and secrets, is not impervious to the reach of justice. The king's tale is one of ambition, power, and eventual downfall. A reminder that even in the digital world, actions have consequences. The story of the king of the dark web serves as a stark reminder of the power, the danger, and the allure of the shadowy corners of the internet.